Now in a minute, I'm going to turn these sprinklers on, the bubblers on, but they just went off. It's first thing in the morning, and I'm going to walk around, and the report was initially her rose bushes, she didn't seem to think that they were getting water. Okay, and you know, from the looks of her sprayers, it looks like those particular ones are in fact getting water. But I'll turn them on and check it out. But you see here, look at this thing. See, this was just laying down on the ground. It's got an end, and that you poke in, and then that's a sprayer, you know, that either will spray out a half circle or a full circle or something like that. I don't normally like to use sprayers when I'm watering certain things. See, here's another sprayer, and you can adjust that right there, and it's poked right into the dripper pipe. That's the long piece for the main power's water. There's one that's just kind of set on there. That's kind of funky. Okay, I don't like using sprayers, because when you do a sprayer, and if you just want to water that, or you just want to water the bush, then wherever the water gets on a sprayer, look what you get happening. You get weeds, you get little these look like little flowers, but they're a form of weed. See all the weeds and stuff in here? Let's just keep walking. She wasn't getting any water in here. Well, that's because there's no bubbler. Here's a bubbler that went off for her her tomato bush, her little lemon tree. See, you can see where that sprayer went on here. This one looks bone dry. So I don't know where the bubbler is on that. I'll have to dig around there and look, or see down here. Maybe there was another long one they used from outside, and they put it up over the edge. And see that sprayer? It's just spraying right there. The rest of this rose is dry. This one's dry. This one's dry. And here, they just have a sprayer out here. See all the weeds out here in the middle? You should have a bubbler here, a bubbler there, a bubbler there, a bubbler down there, and stuff like that. See, and the water. And so she's got all kinds of things out here. The gardener isn't doing a very good job, is he? This, you know, that should have been poked up, but I'm gonna look at all this stuff and maybe minimize some of it. And see, here's one. This one probably used to go over here, and that probably sprayed those over there. And let's just go down the side. Let's just go down the side of the house. See, here's a sprayer that's watering this bush. But again, I like to just put the bubbler up there so you don't get these weeds. Anything that you get wet on the ground, you're going to cause weeds if you don't have a garden landscape barrier down with rocks on top of it or bark on top of it. You're going to get weeds. Okay, she's having a problem with this dripper. See this? Oop. Here's a drip bubbler. That's how much water it had over 10-15 minutes, however long they have the bubbler system on for the drip irrigation. And she used to have 4 or 5 plants right here. Well, they all died. They all died. Imagine that. Because this one here is probably, I'm guessing it's plugged up. When I turn the sprinklers on, I'll take a look at that, and then if that's hardly dripping, I'll cut it off to see if the water's spraying out. If the water's not spraying out, it's something else. But you just check different things like that. Okay, so I'll go around. I'll go around, and the main thing was in the backyard. Okay, she's concerned that her roses are dying. That's the first and foremost thing I'll look at. And as for the drip, the main drip pipe that's going along there, you should not have that above, you know, just setting on top of your landscaping. It's supposed to be dug underneath. Well, they can't really dig it down underneath. Look at all these exposed roots. Now, probably this should have 3 or 4 inches, 3 inches of bark on top of here. You could throw bark down here and cover all this kind of stuff up, but I don't normally like to see the main drip irrigation pipe exposed or the 1/4 inch tubing lines exposed. I like to keep those dug underneath, because in the hot sun in the summer, this stuff gets very pliable. It'll start breaking it down. Then when the winter comes, it's going to get brittle, and then after a while, things are going to snap off of it and not work properly, and it just looks unsightly. Don't you agree? So you know, for all those reasons, I don't like to see this. But and I was thinking initially, I might dig some of those. I might dig the ground down, the dirt down a little bit. You see how it's already discolored here? That's from the sun and stuff. And I thought I might dig down maybe 3 inches and cover some of this stuff up. Well, right in here I probably could. Right in here. But not over where all these big roots are. You know, I'd have to disconnect this stuff and try to dig it underneath roots, and the last thing you want to do is start putting these pipes underneath roots, because if the tree roots get bigger, it could smash your pipe. I'm having an issue with that at my own house right now, where I haven't found the leak yet, or the smashed pipe. Half of the drip irrigation system is working properly, and the other half, hardly any water, if not no water in certain areas. And I'm convinced now it's in the grass. There's a pipe that goes from one area to another area of the landscaping area, across the grass. So I'm gonna have to dig the grass out and find out where it is. And there's a big tree there. And over time, when you start doing this next to trees and stuff, you get possible tree roots growing over your drip. And it only takes a little bit to mush that down. Okay, this pipe is only 5/8 of an inch thick or so. I think this one might be 5/8 or 1/2 inch. They have those in 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4. So if you ever have to repair something like that, don't just go to the store and get a 1/2 inch, come back and find out it's 5/8 or 3/4. Okay, but see, digging this down, back to digging that down, I could dig that section down, probably. I'm going to get into some roots, but along where this tree is, probably not so much. I could dig that little section down, but see how this piece goes across this big old huge redwood tree here. Oh man, it's a big tree. There's no way I can do that. I'd have to reroute that over in here, go underneath roots. I'm not prepared to do all that. You know, I'm prepared to take a look at her system and see what flaws and what things might need to be redone. You'll see, here's another sprayer. See that sprayer? No need. Cut that off and put a bubbler on there. One bubbler for that. See how this is all getting watered here? Look at all the weeds. If you only ran your bubbler to here, and only to there, and only to there, and only to there, you're not going to get all these weeds. Okay, now granted, if there was weed blocker down here, the landscaping cloth, and if you had bark, 3 inches of bark over that, and if you want to put a sprayer, I guess you could do that, but over time, you're going to get the dirt that gets lodged in between your gravel, or your rocks, your landscaping rocks, or your bark. You're going to start getting weeds growing out of that. Let's just take a look at this over here. This is not part of this house's backyard, but isn't that nice? But look, you got bark here. You don't see many weeds in here, do you? Because that's because underneath there's landscaping cloth material, and then they'll just have a bubbler right there, and they come across and they got a bubbler here, and they come across and have a bubbler there. Same thing with these bushes. They don't have any sprayers underneath there. If you dug around, you'd find the bubbler for each one of these bushes. Okay, and they probably have that cloth material under here, and I can see that their landscaping bark is pretty low right here, and they probably need to put some more. See how they used to do it in the good old days. This is the main end, and they just took a piece of pipe and pushed it over there and folded that down. That's their cap. Cheaper than buying an end cap or something. That's just what they used to do. Look at that. Okay, so I don't see many weeds over here, do you? But yet look at all the weeds over here. That's because the bubblers are not present. There's too many of these sprayers. I don't know why they did that years ago, but they did. See it all in here, all this stuff. Okay, so I'll be checking more of this stuff. But the main, like I said, the main thing was over in that area. But once I turn the bubblers on, I might check some different things over here, more sprayers, and see, they could have just put a bubbler there, but that sprays. Because it sprays, you can see where all the weeds are. And I had noticed over here, here's a sprayer thing that's just down on the ground doing nothing. Okay? They initially had it poked up like that, and it sprayed out, but where is it spraying? Who knows? And we don't want sprayers. We don't want sprayers like that. See, this pipe here, this could be dug and put underground. This was just about drip irrigation. Here's a bubbler, you know. Why is it way over here? It's going over here. Probably the main bubbler system is right here, and this is a 1/4 inch tubing that comes over to here, and it might be on a sprayer, and you can see where the pipes go down in the ground. Then you know that's where your main drippers right down through there. So if you ever want to replace or check on things, you can do stuff. Let's see here. I know there's another sprayer over here somewhere. Oh, look at that. It's right here. It's down on the ground. It's at an angle, and it's spraying up this way. Look at that. See? So none of this stuff is rocket science. Okay? You can fix all these things on your own. Don't pay your gardener to come out here. Hey, can you look at my sprinklers? Can you tell me why there's so many weeds, or why certain things are not getting watered? I mean, all this stuff is stuff that any person, I don't care who you are, if you watch enough of my videos, you'll see, hey, if this guy, I'm just an average Joe, if this guy can do it, I should be able to do it too. Okay, oh, look at that. My coffee, the owner brought me out some coffee. Isn't that nice of her? All right, I think it's time to go for now. But I'll be back in a few minutes with more of this project, and I'll show you a few of the repairs as we go along. Well, that's all I got for this time. Where am I? That's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. Every time you watch some of my videos, I hope that you're going to learn how to save money around the house.